guys, this is Connie Eads, and I am your co-host on Saturdays here on Witches of the Moon. And this week we are talking about blood magic. All I can really do is just tell you what I use it for and what I've heard about. I'm not really that knowledgeable about, using blood in rituals or in magic, but I do use a few drops in like dragon's blood ink, and I will write down, sigils or runes or a spell on, paper with it, or I will, write in my book of shadows with it. I have put blood in my book of shadows for protection and for like a binding my book to me, the connection between my book and I have dropped a few drops on working, spell candles or ritual candles before. It's great for protection. You can use it in mojo bags or witch bottles, protection bottles. You can use it for healing for yourself. I've used it for, used poppets with my blood and herbs in it. I've used healing bottles and oils with my blood in it. That's pretty much the gist of what I use blood magic for. I do know that in certain cultures they used to, well, first of all, menstrual blood is considered very sacred and very powerful. I know nowadays it's considered gross and, ew, no, but back then it was considered something, really sacred. It was the first human being to bleed without a wound. It brings life. It is connected with the lunar cycles. So, it was something that was pretty sacred. I know in some cultures they used to dump menstrual blood on their harvests in their crops to bring, to fertilize them, to bring them to life, to, for abundance and protection. They used to mix menstrual blood with soil when they would plant seeds to, bring life to the seeds, to fertilize the seeds. In certain Native American tribes and cultures, I don't really remember which ones off the top of my head, but if a mother gave birth to a very healthy, happy baby, and the mother was, good and everything went wonderful, the mother would smear some of the birthing blood on other women on their tummy, to women that were having a hard time conceiving or, carrying a baby full term or a healthy baby, to, bring blessings to that woman and the mother, and to help them conceive, and, so on and so forth. I know that in certain Native Americans, they would save blood from the previous hunt and the previous kill, and they would mix it with like clay and dirt in their face paints, and they would wear it when they would go on their next hunt as a blessing, in hopes that they would get enough food and stuff to bring home to the village or the families or whatever. I know that in my family and in my tradition, when we would go on a hunt and stuff, we would, okay, so back then when they would hunt, they didn't have guns or weapons that would kill, the animals quickly. So they would, use their arrows or spears or, knives, daggers, whatever, and try to get the animal down as quick as possible. And then they would run over and they would say a blessing and a thanks to the animal for sacrificing and giving life, to them and their families and, the village. And then they would take a knife or a dagger and, pretty much end it very quickly so that the animal was not suffering. And, they would take some of that blood and save it for the next ritual for the hunt. And then, in my tradition, whatever else blood that poured onto the ground was the cycle of life. It was offering to, the Mother Earth. And because it's a cycle of life, it goes into the dirt, goes into the soil, grass and trees and stuff will grow there. Other animals will eat the grass or, bushes or trees. And it's a cycle of life. Not really magic per se, but it is a ritual, and it does involve blood. I know back in the olden days, way back, they would, there was people that would sacrifice themselves as an honor to the gods or the goddess, in hopes that it would bring blessings to their family and their, loved ones and the villages and whatever. This day and age, we can go to a grocery store and pick up food and stuff, but back then they couldn't. And a lot of the times they would take cattle, sheep, goats, chickens, whatever they could, and they would sacrifice them for, an offering to the gods and the goddess or whoever, they were worshiping. But they also used, afterwards they had a feast, they used the meat. They didn't just waste it. So it wasn't like they were going around just sacrificing innocent animals just for the blood. I mean, they were used. Same thing with my heritage, my Cherokee Indian and Native American heritage. We use everything in our kill. We use the bones, the horns, the fur, the hide, the organs, the meat, blood, everything. And back then, when they sacrificed blood as an offering in hopes to bless, harsh winters or their crops or their families or, just as an honor to their deity. And, but they also used, the animal for, food and stuff too. And, and they would also do divination with their entrails and stuff. I mean, it was not just, an innocent kill just for the blood or whatever. They were used. So yeah, I mean, those are just a few of the things that I can think of off the top of my head right now. I would, advise to be very careful when, using your blood in magic and stuff. More so for the sanitary reasons. Use a diabetic or blood, test kits. Those ones, those are the safest. If I don't have those, I will use a safety pin or a pin, but I will soak it in rubbing alcohol for about 15-20 minutes, and I will clean the area that I'm going to prick. I do not work with other people's blood for safety reasons, for one, and for two, blood is an essence. It's your energies, and I don't like working with other people's, blood and energies. That's just my opinion. They used to, in certain hand fasting rituals and stuff, the groom and the bride would put blood in, prick their finger and put blood in a chalice of ale or wine or, water, whatever, and they would drink it as to, bind them as one. I know in some covens, certain covens, they blood share, which I don't have an issue with, but to me, I don't find that safe, especially nowadays with all the diseases and stuff that are going around. So, just be careful. You'd be amazed at how one little tiny cut can get really infected and cause serious injuries or harm to your body. Excuse me. That's pretty much all I can think of on the subject at the moment. If you don't want to use your own blood, and obviously, hopefully you're not going out and using animals or anybody else's blood, you could go to a grocery store, in the supermarket, in the butcher area, or butchers, and ask for the blood. And I know some of them probably look at you like, what? But You can use that. The next time, if you're a meat eater and you get meat, you can, save the blood that is usually in the package, and even if it's just to pour it onto the earth and just give thanks to, to Mother Earth or whatever, you have no idea how powerful that is. That is blessings to you. I mean, it's an offering. And that's another thing. You can, prick your finger and mix it with herbs or oil or, whatever that you give your deity or deities as an offering. There's so many things that you can do, and there's so much more out there. This is just, what I've experienced and what I know and what I've heard. There is some that will bottle up their blood, whether it be menstrual or, using a needle, which I don't recommend, but again, that to each their own. And they bottle it up. Again, I don't, that I feel, for my own opinion, and how I feel is, when you bottle it up, that life essence and that energy is, you have to excuse that was my dog. Your life energy and, the energies and everything that is within that blood is just dissipating. So I feel that, fresh blood, has more of an essence and life into it, which, thus meaning more powerful. And again, that's just my opinion. But yeah, that is pretty much all I can, give advice and talk about blood magic. There's so much more out there, just if it's something that you are really interested in, just research and just, be sanitary and safe. And that is pretty much it. So I will talk to you guys next time. I hope you have a blessed night. Bye.